Good morning, people. It is 6:43 in the morning. I took my trade around about 6 o'clock. I think it was just gone 6:16 actually. I can look at the trade. No, actually it wasn't. It was 1 minute past 6, and I'll explain why I took the trade. All of my levels are drawn on the charts. I'll clear this chart down in a moment and draw all the levels on it again. And quite frankly, once I had the Swiss franc at the weakest point and Aussie dollar was at the strongest point at 6 AM. It's important to wait for the change of the hourly candle, purely the 6 AM candle, because it's the 4-hour close. If you look at the H4 now, you will see we've got 3 hours 15 minutes to go, and H4 had closed on the RSI. So the RSI is really the currency price. Be careful when you're looking at currency prices with pullbacks and stuff. This isn't a particularly good indicator, but it gives you something on, when you've got a ton of charts like this, ton of currency pairs, it gives you something, a starting point to look for. So that's why I find that useful. I like to wait until the 4-hour candle, unless I happen to be awake at 5 o'clock and see something interesting, because the 4 hours are so powerful. And in my opinion, and lots of people will tell you this, traders, you need to be on the same time zone as this. This is GMT plus 2. You can't really see it there, but and what it is, it's lined up basically with the American market. So most people, I think, over the 15 years I've been doing this, maybe even 16 now, will tell you the H4 should be lined up with the American open and close, which the open happens at UK time 2200 hours, adjusted for summertime, because we're all on the same time zone now, the Yanks and us. Excuse my a slip there. I didn't mean Yanks, I meant Americans. To all Americans, I meant no disrespect whatsoever. I was watching a war film yesterday. That's probably why that slipped out. Anyway, apologies for that. H4 on the RSI, massively important. This had changed in the previous hour, or previous bar should I say, from red to green. Okay, so what I do is draw all my levels. In fact, I'll do my levels on another video, because this one will go on too long otherwise. I always draw my levels starting really from the monthly. If there's nothing in the way of price on a monthly chart, because remember, I'm only after 5 or 6 pips this time of the day, or what the charts will give me. Sometimes it's only 3 or 4 pips, which is a shame. Sometimes I can see a 10 pip gap, and I'm talking about the gaps between the lines. That's what I trade, pure support and resistance. So anyway, starting on the monthly, checking the histo alert as well, then the weekly. So start at the start actually. Yeah, first thing I do is look at the currency strength thing. Then I look at go through a bunch of pairs that agree with the currency strength. I did have a look at GA this morning as well, but that's only £5 or £6 a pip, just under over £5, whereas anything related to Swiss franc tends to be about £8 or £9 per pip. So makes a big difference on a 5 pip move. 25 quid compared to 40 quid on a pound a pip. So where was I? Yeah. So currency strength meter first. Find the best pair. Then you will need to go through a few pairs, to be fair, because then you need to make sure the histo alert, the RSI histo alert, agrees with your currency pair, and the lower time frames are most important. The higher time frames not so important, because obviously it can move in a week, it can move hundreds and hundreds of pips. and then just drawing the levels that may affect the price above you, highs and lows of candles. Simple as that. Remember to draw in the right hand side as well, because that's massively important. As price breaks through these levels here, what's going to stop it? Well, it's on the left hand side. I might have said right then, I do apologise. So daily, I'm still in fact I've been awake virtually all night looking after my dog, so I'm sort of numb mentally. So going back to dailies, highs and lows on the dailies as well. At this point we know we've got a reversal, a valid reversal to the downside, in this case by an outside bar. The low, we count the low to the high, and then we count, although this is a lower low, we just say higher low, higher high, and then we just if this had been two candles to break and close below that low, it would have been high low, lower high, lower low and close. But it's one big it's not an engulfing bar because it doesn't engulf the body, it's an outside bar, and that is a massive reversal to the downside. Bearing in mind we're in a massive uptrend here, we are at resistance, but what do we know when we get big candles like this one close through support like that, those two candles there, and then we've had a retest? We tend to get a pullback, but the previous two candles have been an uptrend, low high high low high high. Stands to reason if they want to reverse to the long side, they've got to break and close above that red candle's high there. So in my mind that becomes a particularly important potential target. So long bias is in my head on the daily chart, and obviously the disclaimer has to be mentioned here, because this has got to go on all day and eventually ultimately close above that bar potentially. Price never has to go in a straight line, it could mess around, and then as we know we often get 3 or 4 bars before a reversal. This was just a 2-bar one as normal, or 3-bar, what I call a three candle reversal. But this instance here, high low lower high lower low, and then it's had to go 1 2 3 4. The fourth bar up, green bar, closed above it. Then we had shenanigans. Remember, this is a daily, so that was a pullback there, which we quite often get, and then a massive pullback, test old support and resistance here, and then it has actually gone in the direction of the reversal, the trend reversal long, and as you can see that was a massive move that's taken weeks, in fact probably months now. So yeah, back to this. So we've done all the highs and lows, and we've checked our RSI. We constantly make sure this is still correct with us, and then do the same on H4, highs and lows on the candles. H4 turned green with the previous bar, as I said. H1, we turned green again on this one, and whilst it was an H1 reversal to the downside, we had, in fact, memory serves me correctly, low high high low high high. No, we haven't reversed to the long side yet on the H1. It was M30. Now you can see also what you've got in going on here is a swing trend, low high higher low, and it's just started to break up as I entered my trade. So lots going on there, plus the M30, high low lower high lower low, low high high low high high, and it actually, the high of that candle, and this is important to note as well, and my belief is that if the high is closed above or equal, in other words it's not repelled the price, this one actually closed at the exact same level, 62587, as the high of that one. I consider that to be a reversal. I don't mention that much, but that's important. What you can also do is look at the next candle and see whether it happens to have gapped up. It didn't, I think. I did check it. Open, no, it open was 2586. Even if that hadn't broken there, now because I've got the histo alert on my team, as it were, and the currency is strong, and the trend is going on, I will actually take those trades. Now, I wouldn't have said that before the histo came into play. I would have said walk on, find another one. So that's how important that has become. It's agreed on about 4 time frames, I think, maybe even 5 or 6. So you'd be crazy even thinking of shorting. That's another way I look at my trades. I think, what can't I do? I can't go short. So if I can't go short, it's highly likely that there is a potential long trade there. I've drawn on important levels. I don't go down to the 30 and worry about the highs. I do go as far as the 1. I do observe these, and if it looks a bit iffy, then stay away. But as I said, so much stacked up in this trade's favour that it was, in my opinion, a no-brainer. 15-minute agreed. And importantly, the 15-minute, actually I nearly missed that, was breaking through the 20 level. You can take them before, they're not as good unless they're breaking the 20 level. But, 6 o'clock is quite early for the momentum to take it that way. And then, always notice that's the high there, H4 high. That's where I just targeted towards. Got my, in fact, I think it was 6 pips with this one. And excuse me, just checking over here. No, it wasn't 6 pips, it was 5 pips net of spread. So happy with my 5 pips. Notice again I've taken it short of the level. I could have moved it up a little bit, but I like to just go short in case the algorithms and whatever's running this market just decide to play silly games. So I think at the time I entered, M5 had broken the 20 level as well as the M15, but remember also the higher time frame always takes precedence. So if M5 was dillying about, I wouldn't stay out of the trade just to wait for that. I would take my trade anyway, especially as it was just literally past the change of the H4 and the hourly, switching over of course to the new hour, and that is a time when you tend to get a little bit of volatility, which is always helpful for your trades. And as you can see, the power had come into the move, then bigger candles. We're on a 1 minute now, but even so, big candle there, a reversal to the long side as well, high low, lower high, lower low. That's important to me before my entry. I do go down to the M1, as you can see, M1 agreed as well. So we had an M15, M5 and M1 break and close above the 20. What can I say really? This was potentially a textbook trade. Don't often trade AUDCHF, but the currency strength indicator led the way, along with all the other analysis. And this is what I do daily, especially if I'm a bit fuzzy headed. I try to draw my lines. Sometimes the trades are screaming at you. Sometimes if you're half asleep and they're not screaming at you, it's wise to do these lines. That's why I teach how to do that, as it were, or how I do it. And if you need to learn about it, if I don't get round to putting up a video about these lines here today, later on, just type lines in my YouTube channel and they tend to come up. And it will show you different currency pair, different trade, but same strategy, same process. Okay, thanks for watching. I've made my money for the day now, and I've just got to nurse my dog back to health. It's still touch and go, so hopefully it will be go. Thanks for watching. Have a great Wednesday. Yeah, it is Wednesday today. Had to check then.